Welcome back to Color Class. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And today we are doing a deep dive into Jenna Ortega. I did a short on it not too long ago, and I was like, we need way more time to discuss Jenna Ortega because some of her outfits are absolutely beautiful. She's kind of like this mixture of going deep and warm to deep and cool. So we really need to discuss it because she does it beautifully.
And she is stunning.
I know. And she's so good.
She's great, and she's
going through
beautiful, and she's...
Beetlejuice premiere right now. She did amazing in Wednesday. So
Wednesday Adam.
We see her a lot in like the dark black colors. But then at the Golden Globes, she dyed her hair warm and was just like, so we finally have somebody who goes back and forth, and I'd love to discuss it. So the first thing I want to bring up is just simple face shots of her. Okay. So on the left here, we have her in very warm. This was the Golden Globes I was just talking about. Warm hair, warm skin tone. And on the right, we have her in, she still has a warm skin tone. Obviously that just didn't disappear, but what's going to happen when we have the cool black hair? It's going to go cooler. But there is one thing we wanted to mention.
Well, I the thing that I can't take my eyes off of, hint, hint, is that when she did the cool thing and she kind of dressed herself up as a clear,
on the right,
because of her eye,
right?
The white of her eye, lots of contrast between that black iris. I mean, her eyes are so brown they're almost black, and the white of her eye. That she's able to pull off kind of some clear in her wardrobe.
Yes.
But look at how you can't take your eyes off of her eyes on the right.
Right. They're so bright, so contrasty, so clear. But I really love the warm look on her, and that is because she has a warmer skin tone. So going into harmony with her warm skin tone, going with the warmer hair, that brings harmony to her overall look. But she knows how to pull off the cool black hair.
Well, let's look at the elements. First of all, when you compare these two, notice that she did a really intense lip on the right.
So we're bringing contrast up. The cool contrast.
On the left, not so much. She let the warmth in her hair and skin kind of carry the day. And all those little choices she made, whether she did it intentionally or she just has a great stylist or a great eye, made each of those looks work really well for her.
Now, I wanted to bring up a graph, for lack of a better word. A pie chart is, I guess, kind of a pie chart. So when we look at the 12 seasons, which is what we're into right now, moving on into the 16. Now, this isn't the 16, but I wanted to show you how there is a
realm,
a very small
a slice of pie
that can bring two seasons together.
And in some methodologies they call it flow, a flow, but I prefer to make it really clear rather than calling it a flow. We're just going to call it what it is, a dominant characteristic, because living in between winter and autumn there is a deep sliver,
right?
And living in between winter and spring, and this has confused people quite frequently because they say, well, winters are clear and springs are bright. But in terms of color analysis, those are the same thing.
Right. When we interchange bright and clear, that we're talking the same thing.
And that sliver that lives between winter and spring, whether you call it bright or clear, or let's call it bright/clear, because basically you're looking at color that is straight out of the tube. And that happens between winter and spring. And then between spring and summer, they share this sliver that is light. And then, of course, autumns and summers like us.
Are soft. We share soft.
We share muted.
Soft.
Muted. Or soft muted.
No, we've been teaching soft. We are sticking with soft.
Yes. Sorry.
very soft. We
But
share softness.
sometimes if you're a little confused about what soft means,
If
it
you
means
see-
muted.
Yes, if you see muted, it means that too. So
Yes.
fine. All right, let's look at another image of Jenna Ortega wearing black, even though we can see the warmth in her hair. Why does it still look so good?
Fantastic. Contrast.
Exactly. She brought the contrast up to your lips. Again, we see a darker red on her lip, her eye makeup as well. We have the black winged liner. So we are bringing contrast and the clarity in her eyes. We still have that contrast, even though her hair looks so warm. I purposefully chose a photo where she was taken in the daylight so we could get even more warmth pulled in. This is probably a little exaggerated, but I figured it was just give you an idea.
I have a couple of things to say about this photograph. You know, one of the things in my head that I think about when somebody is really good at doing this, how did they get really good at this? Mm-hmm. And I think she did 2 major motion pictures where her entire wardrobe was black.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right.
So maybe, you know, a stylist, maybe the costumer, maybe she learned how to do this by, you know, having that career and having a wardrobe that was nothing but black. One thing about, and the other thing I wanted to mention about this dress is that notice the see-through parts of the dress. What color do they read?
Warm.
Exactly. So she's not completely sacrificing all elements of warmth, right? Because if you look at the see-through parts of her dress, that brings the eye right back up to her hair.
Exactly. So it's kind of blending this deep category. We're not saying it's a deep autumn or a deep winter. She's blending these two together and creating harmony using kind of, for lack of a better word, a neutrality, because she's blending warm and cool together.
Because one thing color class is about to do is really start teaching neutrals. It is a limitation of the Four Seasons palette,
right,
that if you go strictly with the Four Seasons and you don't teach neutrals and teach how to address neutrals. And let's face it, there's a world of neutral people out there. We don't all fit into, well, thank you.
Us right here.
We don't all fit perfectly into the Four Seasons. You know, some of us are deep. Some of us are soft or muted.
Soft.
So bottom line, we're going to spend a lot of time on neutrals.
And another one I wanted to show you guys is this blazer choice that she was at the Venice Film Festival in. Now you can see we have a very cool black hair. There is no warmth showing up in this hair color whatsoever. She went with a cooler toned outfit. You can tell what's happening to her skin tone. She lost a lot of warmth in her skin tone. So the thing that we're missing is the makeup. Bringing the deep makeup to her face, because what's happening is that color is creating the frame, but we're losing her in the picture. So we need to bring the colors that blend with that palette to the face, creating the harmony, right, which you can see we added the darker, this is more of a deep winter lipstick, a little bit more of an eye color to her lids just to create more contrast and clarity. All right, now I wanted to share some black outfits that she wore. You can tell cool black hair as well. I chose to really showcase. We do have a, what is this, dark blue, navy? Yeah, very dark
deep
navy.
Kind of Prussian blue thing,
Right.
But a black tank.
Right. So you can see how she's bringing the contrast up. I do feel none of these had the lip, but I did give her a cheat on the sunglasses. So like we always say, sunglasses help bring contrast up to the face. She did it with that outfit. But the middle outfit here, that neutral skin tone, it's pushing the black down even further, which is perfect. She is a master at this. And then we have the dark blue. Remember, we say blue can be a neutral, but this one's very deep. But of course, we talked about her being in between deep winter and deep autumn here. Bringing a deep blue into this gives a bit more neutrality. And then she's wearing like a lace tank. Her stylist, I don't know who is doing these, but is fantastic.
I think 3 words just sum up the reason she's so successful. And think about this when you're putting your outfit together. These are the 3 words: head to toe. When she's putting her look together, she is dealing with everything from the top of her head to the tips of her toes.
Now let's go full circle, because I want to showcase her in warmer colors. We know she has a warm skin tone. She does not showcase warmer hair very often. She does showcase the cool black hair, but that is because she is usually on press tours showcasing, Beetlejuice, Wednesday, Scream movies, which usually have a lot of horror, and she wears a lot of black to help with the premiere and the promotion of those. But here at the Golden Globes, she went with a warm, rich red hair color, I should say, a warm dress. Look how beautiful that is.
It is. I'm disturbed by the jewelry.
Of course, she did pair it with something warm, I know.
Now, having said that, it looks like the rings in that dress are also silver toned. So maybe there was a kind of a desire to pull that all together. But I don't love the silver jewelry. It looks gray to me. In other words, sometimes if you're not if you're not wearing the right color jewelry with the right color outfit, it will take the sparkle out of your jewelry and make it look dull. And I think there's a little bit of that going on there with that necklace. But having said that, what you did on the right side, this was not what she was wearing. It's a creation of Sarah's. Basically, Sarah went back to the head to toe formula, whereas she increased the intensity to match or to better complement the hair. On the left side, which was the actual photo, it looks a little bit like a disembodied head, because you've got this beautiful color intensity on her hair, and then the dress sort of is just not really full, and it doesn't have enough oomph to it, enough chroma to it to pull off the hair. So what you did on the right side, I think, is perfect. It brings, head to toe harmony.
I still have to say, I think both of these are within the palette that we are talking about. I did just mess around with the dress color to see what would happen. It does give a bit more intensity on the right. I will say her lip color looks a little bit deeper on the right now. Her eye makeup, her hair looks a little bit richer and redder. But other than that, I think they still look both amazing.
It's interesting because the dress on the left is actually her lip color.
Right, it is.
So you do have that,
right, there's harmony.
You've got some, it's pulling it together a little bit. But if she had your hair color, in this dress, that, then you'd have your head to toe thing happening.
Right, a little bit. If her hair color was a little bit softer on the left, it would have brought the head to toe. But on the right, making it a little bit richer. I mean, both of these colors are still within the right palette, so they're perfect. I mean, this was just to have a little bit of fun and discuss.
This shows, this is a perfect example, Sarah, and I commend you for doing it, of how you can choose colors that are technically within your palette. But there are other elements that must be considered. You can't just, I know that they sell these the color fans, they sell these wallets, and, you're supposed to go out when you go shop and, put it up against a shirt. And if it's in that grouping, you're good. There's so much more to it to have a really beautifully pulled together head to toe look that is complementary,
because tonality plays such a critical role in color analysis. Like whether your hair is a softer red like mine, or is it Jenna Ortega where it's deeper, we are trying to match the tonality of that dress to her hair as well.
Tonality and softness versus clarity,
right?
Because again, and here we are back at the 6 dominant characteristics of looking beautiful.
Because if we talk about Jenna Ortega here, if we look on the 6 dominant characteristic scale from light to deep, she falls deeper. If we look from warm to cool, she falls warmer. If we
Well,
look,
that depends on which element you're talking about.
well, I'm talking this one right here. And if we look
hair.
at soft to clear, where does she fall?
Well, it's interesting because when she's wearing black, she is clearer.
Right.
When in this kind of monochromatic vibe thing, she's softer.
Right.
And look at what happens. I don't mean to interrupt, but look at what happens with her hair. Remember, we were talking about highlights versus lowlights. When she's in black, her hair, solid black, a solid black curtain, a clear solid. In this, you got highlights, you got lowlights, and that softens the look.
So going back to the 6 palettes we discussed, we were looking at light to deep, we said she was deeper. We looked at warm to cool, we said she was warmer. When we look at soft to clear, we said, she's not like super soft, but she moves soft into the softer category when she goes warmer. Now, we are looking for a color that is deeper, that's warmer, and slightly softer. We really need to post a scale because it's hard to describe. It's not like she's on one spectrum or the other. This is a spectrum, so she kind of falls towards the middle, a little bit softer. But a color that falls perfectly on that line, on those lines. So this deeper, warmer color on the right just fits her scales a little bit better in this moment.
Of the photo, yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So this is just a little bit more on Jenna Ortega. I feel like my short did not do it justice. I wanted to get deeper and really discuss kind of her scales.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Go deeper.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in joining our Patreon, we would love to have you. We thank you for all of your support. You could chat with us. You can do polls with us. We have a lot of fun over there.
And talk to each other. Some of our members just have such good insight.
So you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube. If you want to help us out, you can like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. It really does mean so much to us. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
This has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.